So what happened to the Green Bay Packers against the Philadelphia Eagles, and where do they go from here? Packers rookie safety Evan Williams joins us on today's show.
You are Locked On Packers, your daily Green Bay Packers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Packers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Peter Bukowski, and I cover the Packers for The Leap, a newsletter I would love for you to subscribe to. Follow me on Twitter, Peter_Bukowski. Follow the podcast on Twitter, Locked On Packers. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to the podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you find podcasts, you will find Locked On Packers, the number one Packers podcast on the internet. And the show for fans who know what happened, they want to know why and how, thanks to everyone who makes Locked On Packers their first listen every day. We hope you like starting your day with us as much as we like starting our day with you. Today's episode brought to you by our friends at PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use the code LockedOnNFL, all lowercase, to win $50 instantly when you play $5. Evan Williams on the show today. Packers rookie safety. We talk about the game. We talk about his injury, how close he was to not playing, where he's got to go from here. We talk about the future and the past, frankly, of the defense, the next steps in the maturation of this team. A lot of great stuff in this conversation with Evan. Let's get into it. Joining me now, Packers rookie Evan Williams, who was, by the way, on my all-rookie team when I did my PFWA ballot. We did it with Jason Hirschhorn last week. Evan, I know not the way that you were hoping your season would end, of course, but you were able to get back out there on Sunday. How close were you to not being able to get back out there?
Yeah, it was really a game time decision, nearly. I was kind of testing it out through the week. Those soft tissue injuries can be a little challenging just because you don't want to, push to 100% too early and re-injure it. But you also want to, try to get simulate the game somehow, get close to it to get some of those reps in. But I was just glad I was, able to get out there at the, for this last game of the season. I kind of tweaked it a little bit during the game. But at least I have some time now to heal and, get back to 100%.
Is there something like I've talked to players who've said, look, there's something that you have to learn over the course of your career, and it's different in college than it is in the NFL. The idea of playing hurt versus injured, and like there may just be certain things you have to learn to play through a little bit, and then there's some things where you have to listen to your body and say, look, this is not worth it. Is that a process you feel like you've gone through? Did this help you go through that? Is that something you subscribe to? Like, where are you on that?
Yeah, I definitely agree with just taking time for your body. That's probably one of the main lessons that I learned this year is just to, as athletes, we're kind of taught to, deal with the pain, kind of have a management plan and just like, that's kind of part of the game. It's a pretty violent game and, you're going to have your bumps and bruises. So sometimes we like to assume that everything is a bump and bruise, but like at times there's just, you need to take care of your body. And, that should be on the forefront of everything you do, just because, I found out this year that availability is everything. If you're not on the field, there's, nothing you can do to help your team. So, yeah, it's tough to find a balance between those, managing the pain and, really taking time for your body. But, that's definitely the main, lesson that I'm trying to take into this next year is just to be as available as I can.
I know that, there's only so much you can do in preparation, but are there things that you can do differently in this offseason, understanding, hey, I don't have to train for the combine. I don't have to deal with, all the other things that come with, the pre-draft process. I can just go and focus on being an NFL player. Like, have you put together a plan yet? Is that something you have to do still? What is the next step here so you can get that first, because people talk about how useful that first full offseason is for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's definitely something I'm in the process of, creating that plan so that I can hit this off season running, once I heal completely. It's just a lot of talking with, trainers and kind of just finding, where you need to be a little better in. I felt like I had a pretty good, body management routine throughout the year. And sometimes it just happens, I feel like, I mean, a lot of our rookies this year, kind of went down with, some issue. I mean, that first year is, it's a lot on the body, from you really don't have a break from, as you said, going from combine to bowl games to, immediately into rookie minicamp. So, yeah, I'm definitely just looking forward to, taking advantage of this time, allowing my body the full length of time it needs to recover. Just because during the year, you're just trying to push the envelope. You want to come back as fast as you can. So, yeah, I mean, looking back and now looking forward, I can definitely, try to get my body to as near to, 100 as I can with as much time that I have. And, yeah, I mean, that's really my goal for these, coming weeks.
Is having an understanding now of what Jeff Hafley wants in this defense, what your role is in this defense, is that going to change anything about the way that you train, things that you may want to work on this offseason that you just didn't know last year?
I mean, it definitely, allows you to focus more on the aspects that are important, surrounding the scheme, be that, kind of just those vision and break drills where you can, really play reactionary ball. Cause, that's a lot of what we do is, getting our eyes on the quarterback and, being able to, break as soon as the ball comes out is, huge in this defense, will allow you to make, a numerous amount of plays. So it definitely narrows down, the focal points that you need to do in training. And, yeah, I'm sure that, once I get back into, running full speed and all that I'll have a much more narrowed down, list of things I need to focus on just to, be as good as I can in this defense.
Getting into the Philly game a little bit, there were times, and I would say for most of the game, 131 yards passing for Jalen Hurts. I mean, you guys seem to be reading Philly's mail regularly, understanding what they were going to try and do to attack you, regularly having answers. Guys are covered the whole game, really. What was it about the preparation? How did you guys feel going in? Like, what was it that allowed you to have such a good feel for how they were going to attack you and have the answers there?
Yeah, I feel like it was a lot of just development from, from the first game that we played them. Being able to play a team twice and, kind of see how over the season, how their, game plan develops. And we felt like we kind of had a good read on, where they were in the year and what they wanted to do. Obviously wanted to hand the ball off to Saquon. I mean, that's what they did all year. But as far as passing concepts, I feel like we, the entire back end really just had a good feel of, where he wanted to go with the ball. And, yeah, I mean, you saw on film, we were really sticky in coverage. Had a good feel for, where everybody was in relation to us and, kind of what route concepts we might be getting in certain sets. So, yeah, I mean, I'll just, give that up to, our homework, the game plan that, our coaches put in and, yeah, guys just being sticky in coverage.
So we heard Matt LaFleur at his end of year press conference talk about how the defense had to evolve. We talked about this the couple of times that you came on the show, but just for our listeners, as best as you can, when Matt LaFleur says, hey, we thought we were going to play a lot of 3 deep, 4 under, for you specifically, can you just explain what that means? And again, for you specifically, what that means for your role?
Yeah, sure. So 3D 4 under is just, any of our traditional cover 3. You got one high safety, normally rolling a safety down to, kind of protect the box, make sure that, discourage the run at least. And yeah, as far as my role, it really depends. Typically we'll roll X down to the boundary, which would leave me, in the post and kind of gives me a lot of freedom. Kind of just gives me the ability to use my range and kind of just play off the quarterback back there, which we felt comfortable doing, against the Eagles for sure. And, when I'm rolling down, it also gives me the ability to kind of just be aggressive, understanding that you got some, X in the middle of the field. So he's probably not going to want to throw it around there. And you got a couple of corners on each side that you trust, and you can kind of just be, a little more sticky in coverage, which I think is what you saw in the Eagles game. Is just kind of trusting all the pieces are going to do their job, and yeah, again, I feel like we did a good job of really just anticipating routes and yeah, just being on body when, Jalen wanted to get the ball out.
Still so much more with Packers rookie Evan Williams next on Locked On Packers. Growing your small business in 2025 comes down to how well you can hire. And let's face it, better hires start with smarter insights. That's where LinkedIn comes in. With the strongest hiring data available, LinkedIn helps you identify the right candidates, giving you the confidence to make the best decisions for your business. I've used LinkedIn Jobs myself, and I can tell you it is a game changer. Small businesses are wearing a lot of hats. I have a small business. I have to do everything. Hiring is crucial. LinkedIn gets that. That's why they connect you with the best candidates using data you won't find anywhere else. From unique skills and interests to the connections you share, LinkedIn helps you find the right person for the job. In fact, 72% of small businesses say LinkedIn has helped them find high-quality candidates. Hire smarter this year and find your next great hire on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonnfl. That's linkedin.com/lockedonnfl to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. Today's episode also brought to you by our friends at PrizePicks. It's playoff time. Winding down to playoff time. If you're like me, you want to make the most of these final weeks of football action. That's where PrizePicks comes in. If you love football and want a chance to win real money watching these games, PrizePicks is the place for you. It's the best way to turn your sports opinions into cash with daily fantasy player projections. With PrizePicks, you simply pick more or less on player stats like total passing yards or rushing touchdowns for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your money. You can make your picks in less than 60 seconds. And whether you're looking for a flex play to boost your payout or want cash quickly when you win, PrizePicks has got you covered. And with over 10 million members and billions, yes, billions with a B in winnings, it's clear people are loving the platform. Here's a special offer for Locked On Packers listeners. Download the app today and use the code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. You don't even need to win, just play it. That's PrizePicks. Run your game. When you mentioned the rolling down and wanting to be aggressive, I think there's been a perception that teams aren't throwing deep on you guys or didn't throw deep on you guys this season because X is back there. But to your point, when you guys are rolling, a lot of the times X is the roll guy. And so it's you in the middle of the field back there. Mm-hmm. What was it about your defense that you felt like you're a rookie? Like, all due respect to you, usually teams want to attack a rookie. I know you've got good tape out there, but still, mm-hmm. They still didn't want to throw deep on you guys. Like, what was it specifically, do you think?
I couldn't tell you because I honestly thought we were going to get more shots during the year. I was kind of getting a little boring back there, just understanding that they're going to check the ball down and at every glance. But no, I mean, I really just give it to the details of the defense. How well we coached it. I feel like we were so specific in our alignment and understanding we call it alignment, assignment, and technique. And I feel like that was just so clear in every defense that we ran. It wasn't, overly complex. It might look overly complex just because of our disguise and, as far as just how the presentation of it pre-snap. But as far as, our assignments, they weren't overly complicated. And, that kind of just allows you to, when you're in the right spot and your keys and, you're just locked in on the play, it allows you to play fast. And I feel like, we were just a lot of guys in position to, where they know what they're doing and just kind of playing off the quarterback. And I mean, we got a few ball hawks back there, if they decided to throw it up. And I think X might have grabbed too many, early in the year that probably the quarterbacks weren't, looking down there very often later in these drives. So.
Yeah, he was a victim of his own success in a lot of ways because he didn't get many opportunities late in the season. Either did you, and you're like, come on, man, X, like spread the love a little bit around here. What was the message from Jeff Hafley at the end of the season? Because you guys played one of your best games of the season, and it wasn't enough. But the defense still has to do their part. You guys really did your part. I felt like in that game. What was his outgoing message to the team?
Yeah, really, I mean, his main message was just that he was proud of us, proud of how we played, how we handled ourselves, even in adversity, during that game. And I mean, he kind of just told us that, we looked like the more physical team, in all of our matchups this year, which he has to commend. And truthfully, I mean, sometimes that's just how the NFL goes. You can play one of your best games and, if the other side of the ball doesn't, convert as well as they can. I mean, and they've done it plenty of times to us this year where we didn't play our best game and, the offense has to bail us out. And so, I mean, it's just it's very difficult to play, near perfect games, especially with all the injuries we had. It was pretty difficult in that situation. But, he just told us to, get 1% better this offseason. If there's anything you could do, that he was proud of us, and just that, if we return with the same, fight, the same energy that we had this year, we'll continue to be one of the best defenses in the NFL. And, it's only going to get better this second year is, something he's preaching, just that, with people getting more comfortable with the scheme and people, understanding more about the rules and the defense, that, it's only going up. And so just to prepare like that and, don't take this offseason for granted.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is a remarkable testament to you guys and to Jeff Hafley that between you, Bull, Edrin Cooper, all these young players contributing, rookies, Carrington Valentine stepping up, that you guys were able to be as good a defense as you were. Is there any way you guys can help? Because in these big games, the offense started slow. Is there any way the defense can do anything to pick it up? And do you have any idea why in some of these big games you guys just kind of stumbled out of the box a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. We always talk about, just the importance of the ball in situations like that, when nothing seems to be going right or you're just off a tick and, don't start fast or whatever. If you can make a play on the ball, that can change, all the other plays, the negative plays that happened in the past. If you can, make a play on the ball and, really just flip the momentum on its head. And so, I mean, we did a good job of that this year. We took the ball away at a pretty elite rate, but, in some of those games where it just seems like we're not getting started as fast as we need to, I feel like those are, the most glaring opportunities at which we can, okay, if we make a play right here, that can, just give a different sense of life to this team. We can definitely improve upon that. And I think just limiting those explosives, not letting little things turn into big things, kind of not letting a first down turn into a chain of first downs, and trying to limit that snowball before it really gets going is something we can work on too. But I mean, as a whole, for our first year in the defense, I feel like a lot of guys stepped up, as you said, a lot of young guys, and, we're only going up from this spot. And so I feel confident about our future.
Tucker Kraft mentioned in his sort of exit interview that not winning at the end of the season, he felt like impacted the team, and that he could at least kind of feel that the team was not going in the right direction at the end. He felt like he wanted to step up and be more of a leader. How do you think the end of the season impacted the way you went into the playoffs? Because I know you weren't here last year, but last year this team went in red hot, and it did feel like it catapulted them into the postseason. Yeah,
I feel like, it's always important to finish the season on the right note, leading into playoffs. Of course, this is my, first year in this real system, but
you played football before. You're on a team, like, what that's like.
Exactly. It's just, understanding that, kind of just having that confidence going into those last games, that what it takes to win, and just finding a way, even if it's not pretty, being able to get a few of those wins late in the year, kind of just brings everybody's confidence up naturally. Understanding that even if we don't play our best game, we could still find a way to win against good teams. And you take that into the playoffs, and you're kind of riding on a little bit of an energy wave. If you're rolling off a couple of wins, understanding that, okay, we play our best game, nobody can really mess with us. So yeah, it was tough to, kind of sit and be on the sideline for those games. Those were definitely some games I wanted to have an impact in, and, wish I could have done something about that. But again, that comes down to availability and, so that's something I got to work on to try to be able to help my team during those, last few games.
Brian Gutekunst mentioned he said the thing that has been on his mind since the Philly game was that he felt like there needed to be a different sense of urgency trying to win a title. And I took him to mean everybody, the front office, the coaches, the players, everybody. When you hear that from your general manager, from really the top level of the organization right now, because Green Bay doesn't have an owner, what does that mean to you from your perspective? How can you help add to the urgency of trying to go compete for a title?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's just everybody stepping into whatever role the team really desires or needs from them. Coming into this second year for me, I feel like I can just be somebody that, I mean, not the main leader of sorts. And, granted, we got a guy with a lot of experience, has made a lot of plays, but just trying to, be another voice in the locker room that, is propelling guys forward, bringing guys with you. I feel like everybody can be a leader in their own sorts, and feel like, yeah, definitely I can, step into that role. I'm getting a little more comfortable in this second year and just understanding that you kind of got to be on, with the, or let me backtrack, sorry, but you kind of just throughout the year, it starts in OTAs is what I'm trying to say, that, it's not something that just comes come game time and, now we got the talent and we're just ready. Like, the urgency needs to, begin the first day we come back in the building, and, have to understand that the habits that we develop at that time are, going to propel us to being a championship team, come January and stuff. So yeah, just, I feel like pushing that, just understanding that it's a team effort, kind of keeping our connection, as tight as we can, staying close to the guys is something I could definitely do. And, hopefully come, in a few months that we're a more connected team and, we're right where we need to be.
Still more, but wait, there's more with Packers rookie Evan Williams next on Locked On Packers. From the first whistle to the final drive, FanDuel makes the NFL playoffs even more exciting. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win your first bet. That's $300 to keep the action going. The FanDuel app is easy to navigate with a variety of bets. Every game is more exciting. Plus, when you win, you get paid instantly. No waiting around for your winnings, whether you're betting on your favorite team or looking to add a little bit of excitement to the playoffs. FanDuel has got you covered. I hit the under over the weekend, and it was definitely not on Commanders Lions. I'll tell you that. No, it was on Chiefs Texans, and so look, it was fun, mixed bag for me, but the point is that I had fun. I made some money. I want some money. I liked it. I like when I do that. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today and get started with $300 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Make this playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Yeah, and you guys have a lot of young players who probably feel like, hey, I can do more. And in a lot of ways, that's really good. Is there anything, like, as you look back and you have some of these big game opportunities and you guys aren't able to follow through for like 16 different reasons in all the games? Like, I don't think you can pick a through line and say, this is the reason that you guys lost all of these games against the best teams that you played. It was different every game. But is there something you can look back and point to and say, hey, if we can really get this thing tightened up, this is going to help us get to the level that we want to get to, whether it's preparation, whether it's a mentality, anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we prepared in the right way this whole year. I think our practices were, good. We're physical. We're where we needed them to be. But, if I had to say anything, I would just say, trying to have our team stick together, in times of adversity. I feel like is something that, separates good teams from great teams. Because it's guaranteed that, we're going to run into a wall, sometime in the year. You're not going to start fast every game. Sometimes you're going to let up a first drive touchdown, big plays. It's bound to happen. But I feel like if we can just, as a team, understand that, we're a family. We can, together we're, stronger than we'll ever be apart. And just kind of just come together and understand that, we're our best when we're disciplined, when we're, focused, and we're physical, which is, what our culture is. I feel like we'll have a good chance to, bounce back from some of those adversities in the year and, hopefully come out on a different end of some of those big games.
You guys, for the second year in a row, the youngest team in the league. I was looking back at this. If you go back to 2014, the Packers in 2013 and in 2020 or 2023 and 2024 are the only teams in the NFL the last decade to be the youngest team in the league and have a winning record. The only teams to be the youngest teams in the league and go to the playoffs. That being said, there's been some discussions. Hey, Josh Jacobs talking about recruiting, trying to bring some guys in here. Is there room in your locker room for, an older player to come in and step into a leadership role or come in and step into a playmaking role? I'm not going to name any names, but, Devontae Adams is on some people's minds. I said I wasn't going to name any names, but, is there an opportunity like that out there?
Yeah, I feel like there definitely is. As you said, we're a young team. We got room for people with experience, that knows what it takes to win, to come in and just be that type of leader for us, to, allow us to understand that, just the ins and outs of, playing winning football. And so I feel like, if we get any acquisitions, I'm not going to name any names, but, if we have somebody that's an experienced player that, would fill a role that we need, I feel like, absolutely we should jump at that opportunity. And so, yeah, I feel like we got space for, people with experience to become leaders. And, it also takes the younger guys stepping up to be leaders in their positions, and kind of just everybody taking accountability, heading into this last stretch. So,
Evan, you're a player. It's not against the rules for you to name names. Like coaches, GMs, they can't name. You can name names if you want to name names. Like you want to recruit here. Like Xavier McKinney's the one telling Devontae Adams to pull back up.
I'll tell you, he's a Fresno State product. So it would definitely mean a lot for me, to kind of pick his brain on, what it takes for him to, get to where he is. But not naming names here. I'm not recruiting nobody. Not me.
All right, Evan Williams on the record, not trying to get in trouble. I respect it. I understand it. I want to close with this because there has been some discussion about this idea of a number one receiver, and I don't want you to talk necessarily about your team, but I feel like if everyone's playing their best, I feel like your receiver room is good enough. But can you just from a defensive standpoint walk me through like the differences and the challenges that an offense like yours can present versus a team that funnels everything through one or like 1.5 guys?
Yeah, I feel like what every offense is trying to do, regardless of whether they're, funneling it through one or a couple, so-called superstars, or, kind of our philosophy, just having a bunch of guys that can make plays, is that, they're just trying to make it easier for everybody else, for, trying to give everybody an opportunity to get one-on-ones throughout the game. And you can do that when you have, certified number one that, requires a double or requires, a lot of bodies around the line of scrimmage, or you can get it when you got 4 dudes that are all split out. You can't play, you can't double everybody, basically. Yeah. When you got a bunch of guys that can make plays, it kind of just makes it either easier for, an offense where a defense has to pick their poison, has to find somebody that, you got to take the double to, or, draw a couple more bodies, and just opens it up for the offense. So I think that teams with a true number one, it can almost be tougher from an offensive perspective, just because you feel like you need to get that guy the ball to, be able to successfully, execute your offense. That's kind of what it's built off of, is the threat of getting this guy the ball, see what he can do. And now a defense is worried about that. But, if he doesn't get those, those touches, then, a team like that can fall apart. But whereas, a team like ours, if say one of our guys isn't getting the ball as much, you still have 3 other, weapons that can, go off at any time. And Yeah, as a defense, it's tough. You want to take one guy away, but when all the guys are able to make plays, it's not too easy. So yeah, I mean, it brings a lot of tough times, trying to choose who to take away in our offense when you got everybody that can, make home run plays. But that's I mean, for another time, that's, offensive scheme and stuff. But
yeah, I think everyone's trying to find that consistency to get you to the next level. And I think, the opportunity is there, but as Brian Gutekunst said, guys got to do it. All the talent in the world doesn't matter. You got to do it. So Evan, we appreciate all the time this season. Hopefully we get a chance to do this again soon. Good luck getting healthy first and foremost.
I appreciate that. I'm going to definitely take this time off. Very needed for me right there. So I appreciate that.
All right. Thanks to Evan for joining the show. Awesome to talk with him. Hopefully more of that to come with Evan. We have a good time doing it. And so I think we're going to get to keep doing it. We'll see. Scheduling and a lot of things that have to, fall into place and get that all working out. But we appreciate him stopping by a handful of times this season to give us his insight. We really did, catch him at the right time as he's on the up here. I think he's got a really bright future with this Packers team, and this Packers defense looks like it can be really, really good. There's so much to get to this week. We have an absolutely loaded week of Locked On Packers because there's so many storylines to uncover, from lessons from the divisional round to where this team goes from here as the youngest team in the league. Do they need to add veterans? We asked Evan Williams about that specifically. So a ton more decisions to make on Quay Walker and Devontae Wyatt. A ton to get to the rest of the week and the rest, frankly, of the offseason here on Locked On Packers. We'll still be 5 days a week. We'll be here with you the whole way. Follow me on all the social medias, Peter_Bukowski. Follow the podcast on all the social medias, Locked On Packers. Subscribe over on YouTube, wherever you get podcasts. Rate us, review us. Give us a chance to reach more people so they can stay with you, Locked On Packers.